Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna start some new short series playlist on Oops. So in the upcoming days and in this video we're gonna discuss everything about Oops in a very detailed way and in a very deep way. So to begin with the journey, we should know the main difference between Oops and POP. You guys might have heard somewhere by in your journey the terms called POP and OOPS, right? You some guys listening to this video may have known the difference, might have known the difference, but the difference makes everyone feel confusing. To be honest, in the beginning, the difference made me also confusing, but when we understand it clearly, the difference is very easy. It's not very, that much difficult to understand. So in this video, we'll understand what POP is, and next we'll go to OOPS, and we'll differentiate them with using an example. But before everything, remember a point that OOPS and POP are just not two ways of coding, or just not two ways of writing the code. Sorry, what I said, like the what I told is saying, like OOPS and POP are not two ways of coding because they are two ways of thinking how we write the code. Oops, the way we write influences of thinking how we'll write. Got it right. So they are not just two different programming styles. Remember it. So then let's begin with understanding what is the POP. Yeah, POP is nothing but procedural oriented programming. So procedural oriented programming is a paradigm on which our code is built. Paradigm is following some pattern. Is following some pattern of which we are implementing something. So we implement something by using some pattern. The pattern here is POP, procedural oriented programming. So in procedural oriented programming, we implement some procedures or functions that act upon some shared data. So the data here you can see is a shared data. The data you can see here is in a shared data. So the data here is in a shared data. So think the data here is, this is the data. This is the student's data. And these are the three functions: update marks, calculate results, and print report. So any function can act on this data. There is no objection. No one will say no, you shouldn't act. One will say no, you shouldn't act. So any function can act on this data. For suppose for now you guys who don't have the knowledge of what's the problem, so for suppose you think there is no problem until here. So I will write one more statement. I'll just write one more statement. We'll write something called marks equals to 0. I will write something called marks equals to 0. uh, Marks is equals to 0. Is there any problem? No, it is syntactically correct. It is syntactically correct. It is syntactically correct. It is syntactically correct. There is no problem in this. No compiler will stop this. But it is affecting our data. You can see, guys, it is affecting our data. The marks are becoming 0. So it is just a normal basic model. So you guys will think, okay, what is it? I can't see some weather problem here. So let's go into some real case. Something there is a call, there is a something like where there is a management system for some bag. So there is a carbon. So there is a management system for it. So implemented everything perfectly in POP. So I will write something one more statement called balance is equals to minus 10,000. It is, there is no problem here also. For suppose think the int, so there is no checking call. Sorry, so there is no checking here. There is no problem here also. It is syntactically correct. It is syntactically correct. So there is no problem here also. So no one will try to stop you. No compiler will try to stop you. So it runs. It runs in the real world bank management system. So what will happen? There will be so many errors in the bank, and the bank goes into the losses. So many companies can also go into the losses. So there is a big real world problem here. So procedural program, you can see here, procedural oriented programming doesn't give you ownership on a particular data, doesn't give you security on a data. So it doesn't tell you, it doesn't check who is accessing the data. It doesn't check who should access the data. So there comes the problems. So for solving this problem, the thing comes up is the OOPS, the object oriented programming language. It allows the ownership on a particular data. It allows the checks that who is accessing the data, and it allows the checks who are operating on the data. So the thing comes up here is OOPS. But how OOPS implements this? But how OOPS implements this? We need to check how OOPS implements this, right? We can't say how. We can't say it ourselves, right? Wait a second. So how OOPS operate? How OOPS implements this? So basically, OOP binds these separated functions and data, data and the functions. It binds everything. It binds everything into a single unit. It binds everything into a single unit. It binds everything into a single unit. So you can see here, it is binding everything into a single unit. It is binding everything into a single unit. So how will this how will this benefit us? So see, in OOPS, everything is implemented by two things. One is objects and another one is classes. So one is classes and another one is objects. So classes are nothing but the blueprints for the how objects are implemented. Classes are nothing but blueprints for how objects are implemented. So uh, each object has its own data. Each object has its own data, so that the functions can of an object can act on only its object's data. So you guys will say, so I will act on the data by using that object. So I'll basically put something called object. You guys will say, obviously, you guys, I'll basically put something here. i'll basically put something I'll basically put something. I for suppose think of object. Object is object one. So how we will access the data in the in an object is by using the dot operator. So object one dot, what is the data, marks equals to 0. Yeah, this works fine. So I'm accessing a variable and I'm modifying it, and I'm doing the same as in the POP. So how the oops overcomes this? How the oops overcomes this? So the oops overcomes this by using something called access variables. So they suppose we write while writing the code int mux private. So even then, if we write private, it becomes a private int mux. Then even the object also can't change the data. So the compiler object obviously will say it is wrong. It is wrong. You can't do it. The compiler will say you can't do it. You can't change your object's data. No one can touch it unless it functions. No one can touch this. No one can touch this. So we overcame a problem. We overcame a problem, something called as ownership. We overcame a problem, something called as who operates on this data. You're right. Yeah. So we can conclude here that we can implement object oriented programming in procedural oriented programming style, but it requires so much complex thinking and complex logics. And one more thing is that when we try to implement object oriented programming in procedural oriented programming, it fails, guys. It fails at some extent of time. It fails at some extent. It can fail within 1 minute, it can fail within 1 hour, but it fails. Guarantedly it fails. Paka, I will guarantee you. So that's it for today, guys. And yeah, one more difference, so far I forgot, sorry. Object oriented program is enforcing the rules. You understand? Procedural program is something following some orders. Procedural programming is something like following some orders. Object oriented programming is something like enforcing some rules. Remember these 2 points perfectly. That's it. That's it. This ends the video. So if you guys have understood this video, please follow, like, and subscribe. And if you guys haven't understood this video, please comment down below if you guys haven't understood this video, and what makes and what should I need to add so that you guys can understand. And if you guys haven't understood, I will make one more video to detail explanation using another example so that we can get some clarity on the difference between OOPS and POP. So that's it. One more time, please subscribe.